welcome to a new edition of After the Whistle. It seems like it's a new day. You got a new president. You got championship week of the NFL. A whole lot of stuff happening. And and we got a guest. Lynn Tech head coach Stevie Patrick's here with us.
How y'all doing?
Todd's here. Hopefully he don't sit down to get some schedule. But he's here. I had a whole thought I was about to say before we started this, but it just went
it'll come back.
But how you said it's a new day, just seems like it's a whole new world we're living in today just because Biden stepping in place of the clown.
That's what I was going to say.
I know.
So
we're friends.
he didn't even, the outgoing president didn't even bother to say to welcome in the newly elected president in. And this is when sports come into play. We always go back to sports. Sports, no matter what, it teaches us win, lose, or draw. No matter how heated it gets, you could be fighting. Once it's over, you go shake the opponent's hand, say good game, and you move on. This guy couldn't even do that. And that just shows how classless and how little he thinks of everybody.
I'm not surprised. I expected it. That's just what it is.
To be honest, he said he was going to do that. Before he said, if I lose, I'm gonna basically make it hard for the next president who comes in here, and he did exactly that.
And the world we're living in, there's a small group of people that think they can just act any old way.
Yeah.
And he's part of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like he's ahead of it.
You won't be surprised.
You know who's acting the same old way and it didn't help them? The Baltimore Ravens against the Bills. Well, they had some circumstances, but this game, it was a good game for a majority of part. Then one little mistake pretty much changed the whole game. And the biggest thing about playoffs is turnovers. If you don't turn the ball over, you'll win the game. And the Ravens had a crucial turnover in the red zone. They were like at the 5-yard line for opportunity 6. And I don't even know who he was throwing the ball to because there was like 3 or 4 Bills defenders on there.
I think he was looking for the tight end, but and that goes to my point. They have no throwing game. Baltimore Ravens have no throwing game, and to win a playoff game, you definitely need to be able to throw the ball. And not only did they not have a throwing game, they didn't have any takeaways. You talk about turning the ball over. They didn't turn the ball over. And that's part of their game, the Baltimore Ravens defense.
And, they kind of went back to what they aren't good at, and that's relying primarily on Jackson because they barely ran the ball as well. Edwards only got 10 carries. He's your high for 42 yards. You have to try to figure out something, and the run sets up a lot with the passing. But I already told you the other day, I was like, I don't like watching Lamar Jackson with the Ravens because they don't utilize his skill set the way it should be.
Yeah, and they had many opportunities. They could have still ran the ball too because they were down 10-3 the majority of the game. So their defense was playing well. I mean, they only allowed 1 touchdown, so they played really well.
And too, they need more discipline. You can't have in playoffs. You can't have 8 penalties, 59 yards. That's half the field basically. So and then your kicker, granted.
On the other side, though, maybe we're not giving the Buffalo Bills enough credit.
Okay.
I've
been with them all year.
Okay, all right. See, I didn't know that. All right.
The Ravens' misfortunes. They had missed field goals.
Yeah.
Turnovers.
A second quarterback. They had to come in with another quarterback.
Yeah. Was it Huntley? Huntley came in.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice. I thought it was him for a second. Then I see him throw a bomb. I was that wasn't Lamar.
Yeah, but the Bills, this magical season continues for them. They just keep going. I mean, they just had to make one play, and they did. And their defense pretty much stepped up. Because one thing about them, they have good defensive backs.
Yeah.
So, and the Ravens' passing attack isn't that good, so they could load up the box. And, if you're going to beat us with the pass, because we're not going to let you run.
And one thing about Allen, no turnovers.
Yeah, and I was about to say that. Not only no turnovers, he actually controlled the game time-wise, too.
Mm-hmm.
Kept Lamar off the field as much as he possibly could.
Yeah.
If you look at the time of possession,
yeah, definitely.
I didn't write that down, but I know that the Bills had the ball longer.
The Bills had the ball for 35 minutes. 35 minutes to the Ravens 24. That's plus 11, right? Plus 11 right there. And Josh Allen, one thing about he just holds on to the ball too long, especially he'll throw it away, but he holds on to it way too long and throw it away last minute.
Yeah, he's strong. So he believes in his strength and his power, but this is the NFL, guys.
And I think he's always trying to wait to the last second to see if somebody's open.
That's that Brett Favre syndrome.
Hey, it's my guy.
I love Brett too. That's my favorite. I got pictures with his jersey.
Yeah, that's my guy.
All right, and now the Red Hot Chiefs, they just keep going and going. 3rd straight AFC title game. This is going to be the 3rd one at home. They lost their quarterback, but they still found a way to win. Travis Kelce is a problem. He's been a problem all season, and he's going to continue to be a problem. And the Browns pretty much had no answer for him at all.
No, not at all. One thing I would say, kudos to the Browns for having a great season. They played their butts off against the Chiefs.
I was thinking that myself.
They were a turnover away from maybe winning this game.
I thought it was a very good game. It might have been the best playoff game we had so far. As far as, I think Henny was the hero of the game, if you ask me.
That last play?
Yeah, but the last play, not only just the way he came in, he didn't turn the ball over. He ran for a first down to run the clock out. He was 6 for 8 throwing the ball. 6 for 8.
Yeah.
I mean, you in a situation like that, that's huge.
He did turn it over though.
He turned it over
A
once.
fumble?
No,
interception.
He launched it. Yeah, he launched it. Yeah, he launched it in the end zone. But besides that, he didn't make no really serious mistakes. And they trusted him.
Yeah,
was that a fourth down?
Yeah, it was fourth. It was fourth.
I'll be honest. I'm not. I have no issue with his performance. I would just say you only throw the ball 8 times. You better not throw it into him. You only threw the ball 8 times, brother. Like, come on.
Yeah, but he was 6 for 8, and it was what? When did he come in?
I think it was somewhere in the third quarter. He came in.
Half.
But you gotta give the Chiefs defense credit. They were able to hold. They made that key play, even though a flag should have been thrown because it was kind of launching it at the dude's head. But dude fumbled the ball. You gotta hold on to the ball. You can't fumble the ball at that point, especially when you're making a comeback. Now that people talk about change that rule, if you fumble it goes to the end zone. And the offense should get the ball back. It shouldn't be a touchback. But like, don't fumble the ball.
Part of
part of the game. You want to change that part of the game?
That's part of being a man. Just holding on to the ball.
A lot of people always want to change rules to benefit the offense. Of
course.
It's like, don't fumble the ball at the 1 yard line.
One thing I will say though, the passing, you can see like the drastic coaching, I want to say, skill when it comes to passing.
Yeah.
Because Chiefs 8.1 yards, per pass, in Cleveland 5.2. That was really the difference because their rushing was exactly the same. Mm-hmm. So it was all about which quarterback was going to be better quarterback.
It was the same, but I was surprised because Williams, he rushed more than Chubb and Hunt. Mm-hmm. He had more yards than both of them at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. 78 yards.
78 yards. Combined, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was a good game. Honestly, all these games so far in the playoffs have been close. We haven't had a blowout. Some years they'll be like, these blowouts are probably like 2 good games, but all these games start with the wild card weekend. They've all been close. So Chiefs' 3rd straight AFC title game. Maybe they're trying. This is Andy Reid's 2nd time leading a team to a championship game for 3 years in a row. He did it with Philly and now with the Chiefs. I mean, Hall of Fame coach, put him in the Hall of Fame.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Hall of Fame. Brady leaves the AFC and Drew Brees and man, this was more so about how bad Drew Brees and that offense was. I mean, Brady, as a veteran, 20 years in the league, he said, I'm not turning the ball over. The defense is making plays. Offense, we're just gonna make enough plays. Because Drew Brees, man, that was hard to watch.
Yeah, the Bucs defense was, definitely the story of the game.
Man, you ain't going to win no games with 4 turnovers. And how you going to put Jameson? He gets you a touchdown. And you just throw Brees back in there. But the only thing I would say is, you know what they was doing with the big business pot. This is 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks that never met in the playoffs. So now it's time to see what, you know what I mean?
And it's Drew's last one. It was Drew's last one. They had to...
Man,
you gotta let him go out on his shield, though.
The writing was on the wall since like week 8 or so. He couldn't get the ball down the field. In this game, he couldn't throw the ball 10, 15 yards. It was just hard to watch. And I mean, Jared Cook, that fumble he had really changed the game because they were up 20-13, moving the ball. He fumbles it, and then they get outscored 17-0 the rest of the way. Some of those interceptions were just bad. The one to Kamara was just running straight. He didn't even look.
He was the only bright spot too of the whole team, Kamara.
And that's my bad for cutting you. That's another thing. Remember how I said they were gonna forget about Kamara? They forgot about Kamara.
They definitely did.
We talked about this.
He only had like just over 100 yards total.
Only 18 carries too. He should have at least 20 to 25.
Pretty much, especially when they were in control of the game. Because look at the second half. When they started the second half, I think it was a point they had 6 or 7 straight carries when they moved the ball to get that 20-13 lead. But you see the opposite side, the Bucs, they kept handing it off to Jones and Fournette. They just kept handing it off, feeding them. And then what happened?
It's like they switched roles, like because Fournette had 100 plus total yards. He had, what, 4 catches? 5 catches, I believe?
I'm not even sure.
It looked like he was throwing up to White, to James White, like the old Brady throwing the 4
5 catches.
5 catches. Great.
Man, it just seemed like the Bucks were more worried about winning the game, and the Saints were more worried about trying to have Breeze win it for them.
Yeah, pretty much. And you know the Bucks, and then when it came to it, the Bucks got the ball to the hands of the playmakers. When they got to the red zone, Mike Evans got a touchdown. When they needed a big play, Gronk, Scotty Miller, Antonio Brown went down, but still he'll be back. But he was getting Godwin. He was getting all those guys the ball. So the Bucks, they've been playing really well on both sides. And this guy Devin White, talk about a beast.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but know what's surprising before we leave the Bucks? Brady only had 199 passing yards. That's under 200 pass. So I mean, he really wasn't that great.
He wasn't bad, but it goes. This was like vintage Brady when he first got in. You know, he's older too. He needs to have more. Those games like that at this age are fine. If Drew Brees had that type of game, they probably would be playing the Packers.
Right.
But Brady,
he managed the game.
Yeah, that's what they needed.
Used his stars, used the guys he needed to use.
Especially if he's had trouble against this defense all year. So this is good. But this guy, Devin White, he missed the first playoff game. He comes back, 11 tackles, 10 solo. He had a strip. He had an interception. He was just all over the field. And, man, the Bucks, they're playing well.
If they play like that against Aaron, I don't know.
All right, we'll talk about the Packers. We'll talk about the Packers. The Red Hot Packers, they made. The game was pretty much. It was a good game for a while, and then the Packers pulled away in the fourth. The Rams' problem, they got a quarterback issue. I mean, they paid Jared Goff all that money. Me and Todd talked about this. They paid him all that money, but it seemed like since they went that year, after the Super Bowl year, it's like he's just been regressing, and it doesn't help that you're playing with a messed up thumb.
I mean, he went 21 for 27. I'm curious about what plays they call him. He only had 174 yards.
Right.
You got to get bigger plays.
Yeah.
No touchdowns.
No, yeah. He had one touchdown. But compared to what a quarterback should have, he should have at least 2 or 3 touchdowns. And man, this dude Rodgers. It's on the tear.
He's not turning the ball over. That's the biggest thing. He's not turning the ball over at all. And and that's the big thing. And for years, the Packers, their issues was the running game and protecting him. They're doing both of those right now.
Aaron Jones had a great game, and Jamal Williams had a great game. That was the surprise of the game, I think. I think what they did was, the Rams' defense is strong. The Packers came out and just punched the Rams right in the mouth, and you could tell because Arnold was crying at the end of the game.
and they got the ball to other receivers as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were so focused on Adams, who had 9 receptions for 66 yards and 1 touchdown, but Lazard actually came and produced as well.
The thing what they did with Adams is they moved him. So to get him open, they'll move him. Or they'll put him in motion and then they'll snap it just so somebody could probably get in the way of Ramsey. Because if they do a straight man-to-man run down the field, Ramsey's going to win that 9 times out of 10. But they had him moving around so it wasn't just Ramsey could just easily cover him and stuff like that.
And Aaron's one of the best at what he does when it comes, especially playoff time.
Yeah.
No turnovers, like you said, almost 300 yards. What was he? 23 of 36. I mean, that's a really decent game. And then on the ground, they had 200 yards. Yeah. 200 yards from all 3 running backs. A.J. Dillon, Jamal Williams, and Aaron Jones together was a 200-yard rushing.
A.J. Dillon, Boston College.
Yeah, and it's just hard to stop an offense when you're getting 8.2 yards a throw. Ooh. Like, that's almost the first time every time he throws it. You know what I mean? Wow. So it's like...
Yeah, it's tough. This Packers team. They've been rolling. I don't even know when was the last time Rodgers threw an interception. To be honest with you, I have no idea when. Because I think he's gone so many games without throwing one. I think he's had 2. He's thrown 5 all season. So he doesn't turn the ball over. And what he does now, he throws the ball away. So, good luck.
And in the Rams, for the Rams, their defense is what carried them pretty much all year by forcing turnovers, things like that. Yeah. No turnovers. 0 turnovers this game. 0 forced.
Yep.
You're not going to win.
No,
the last time Aaron Rodgers threw an interception was December 27th.
Wow.
Against the Titans.
All right.
And then before that it was against the Colts on November 22nd. So Yeah, good luck.
How many touchdowns did he throw within that period of time?
Oh, man.
Probably like 12.
Let me see. 4, 8, 9, 12, 15, 19, 22. 22. So, 22 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
A lot of people saying he's the front runner for MVP.
Oh, definitely.
It might be co-MVP. I still think because Mahomes.
It's Mahomes.
Mahomes, yeah.
You think so?
He still had a crazy year. But Rodgers should probably get it.
I think it's.
In my opinion, it probably should be co-MVP, but Rodgers.
I think you got to give it to A-Rod, man.
He's gonna get it. But
Mahomes got plenty more years of getting that or being in the run. You know, Aaron, this is his window for Super Bowls and MVPs and all of that.
He's got to pair up the stats.
And we finally get we finally get in the matchup that a lot of people been waiting for a few times. Rodgers and Brady. You know, we all had Super Bowl aspirations of those matchups a few times, but you know, one guy got there, the other guy didn't. But this is a rematch. Both of these, AFC Championship game and NFC Championship game, this rematch is of Week 6. And last time they played in Week 6, it wasn't his best outing. It wasn't the Packers' best outing because
They got smoked.
Yeah, that was the game the Bucs kind of started figuring things out a little bit, especially on defense. They got after Aaron. They intercepted him. They sacked him. It was probably one of the worst games. And there's also like a rivalry historically, you know, between the Packers and the Bucs going back to Warren Sapp and Brett Favre. So this is going to be a compelling matchup.
Yeah, it is.
In their head-to-head, they're 2-1. Tom Brady's 2-1 against Aaron. I believe that the Bucs are going to win this game. History tells us that.
It's some of those guys. I mean, Brady's used to that cold weather, but some of those other guys, they ain't never played in a cold playoff game, especially, you know, Wisconsin. That Wisconsin cold is different.
And Rodgers lives in that, man.
Yeah, but you know, Brady's been up here, man. Belichick used to what? He used to make them.
Yeah, but he can throw the pass, but they gotta catch it.
Yeah, Brady.
True.
Yeah, a lot of people are worried about Brady because he's dealt with it before.
Right.
You know?
So
You're
correct.
talking about the receivers. You're talking about
everything.
You're talking about
And Leonard Fournette, he was in Jacksonville, and he's from Louisiana.
Yeah,
like, I don't think he's even seen snow before. Like,
and they say it's gonna be snowy.
It's gonna be cold. It might snow, but they're saying it might be one of those rain snow type of ordeals. But I mean, what are you looking forward to in this game?
you know, I've been rocking with the cheeseheads all season.
Yeah.
So you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
So this is our debate time.
I
Here
mean,
we go.
hey, once Brady left us, man, he up. That's just what it is. He's opposition, the opponent. You know what I mean? That's just what it is, bro. Like, so I root for who I feel is gonna win.
I understand. But
no
history,
favorites.
he's 2-1 against Aaron. History shows us that Brady thrives in these situations.
True.
When everything's on the line, who you gonna go with? You gonna go with Aaron or you gonna go with Tom? Just with history.
But you also know what's about history? It's back there. So we gotta talk about
And
today.
it repeats itself.
All
Sometimes.
right. on that, I have stats. I have historical stats. So
Okay, all right.
Aaron Rodgers, this is his 5th NFC title game. This is his 5th one. So far, he is 1-3. Rodgers has thrown 6 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. He's got 8 turnovers in these championship games. He has yet to have a good game in any of them. And even his
Only
first
one
one
was bad.
his first one was pretty bad. But they went to the NFC. They won it though. They won 21-14. 2014, they lost 28-22 in overtime, and they had a 19-3 lead. Defense had created 6 turnovers, and they lost in overtime. That crazy pass. If that was the year we all were waiting for the Brady Rodgers Super Bowl matchup, because it was setting up for it because how the Packers dominated the Seahawks that whole game, and then that was some nonsense.
Yeah,
Then 2016, 3 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. In a 44-21 loss, but they were down 31 to the Falcons. They were down 31-0, and that's also 28-3 for.
That whole thing was a fluke for them.
and then last year they were down 27-0 at halftime. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a fumble, 326 yards. So the trend is the last 2 trends they haven't scored in the first half.
History tells us that the Bucs are going to win this game.
But you kind of maybe they've learned their lesson because sometimes things can happen. But we go to the AFC side, and the Bills are back in the AFC Championship game for the first time since 1994. You know who was the quarterback? The quarterback matchup in that one?
Jim Kelly?
Jim Kelly versus
Drew
Joe
Bledsoe.
Montana.
My guy, Montana.
This was Joe Montana's first year. First year in
with the Chiefs.
Yeah, this was his first year.
Wow.
Got them to the AFC Championship. But the Bills would have eventually won, and they lost. So,
Thurman Thomas was a killer back
yeah,
then, bro.
yeah, that
he
was a team. But
he was like the 4th best running back in the league.
yeah, this Bills run is kind of this Bills run right now. It's bringing all the Buffalo together, a lot of stuff together. A lot of people excited to see the Bills, but. The first time they met the Chiefs, Travis Kelce, they couldn't stop him.
I'll be honest, man. I'm excited to see the Bills just because like the whole. I want to say just the Bills camaraderie. I just think it's dope. You know what I mean? And like Bills have kind of been forgotten about for years.
Yeah, because of us, because of the New England Patriots.
Yeah, but they ain't doing nothing with the Chiefs.
The AFC East team. Yeah. Let's root for them. You know what I mean?
I ain't rooting for them.
Nah, man. We going. This is where the buck stops for me. Trade stops here. We hit the Chiefs. All right.
We ain't rooting for them. But if they want to win this game, they have to be able to keep up with it because they have that firepower to keep up with the
defense
Chiefs.
Is going to be the story.
They have to stop that run because the Chiefs ran all over them that game. Edwards, Hilaire, Williams, even Mahomes. He made a lot of plays with his feet in that game.
Now they got Bell too. They didn't have Bell the last time they played.
They did not. They did not.
Allen has to be more. I want to say he has to be more disciplined.
Yeah, I think this will be a very competitive game. But yeah, I'm interested to see how the Bills are going to stop this attack because
I don't see it happening.
I don't either. Tyreek Hill.
There's a lot.
Is there anybody in the league that can?
The Bills are good, but the Chiefs are just like on a whole nother level, man. Like it takes them. I don't need one quarter.
Yeah,
and it's usually the third.
Yeah, they will. So we'll see.
I don't think there's anybody in the league that could deal with Tyreek Hill's speed, man. I'm sorry.
No, there isn't. You got to double team him. You got to put a safety deep because if it's 1-on-1, he's getting the ball.
Even in the short routes.
Yeah,
all you got to do is throw it to the flat. He's gonna go catch it.
He's a problem.
Yeah. So we'll have our predictions at the end of the show. That's the NFL wrap up. But we're gonna go to Craig. And Craig, oh no, we're not done with the NFL yet. My bad. We're not done with the NFL. We got a couple more things to talk about in the NFL. First, let's get to Deshawn Watson being unhappy with how things are going over there in Houston with the management, how the hiring process, how they hired the new GM without telling him. Then the head coaching hire, they disregard Eric Bieniemy. Like the guy wants to leave. He wants to leave. He wants to leave, and the Texans have not helped themselves.
Now you see how for the show I would say how they treat their players.
Yes.
He's supposed to be your number one guy in your franchise. He doesn't even get included in important decision making.
Yeah,
and we've been mad about Deshaun, what he's been going through for the past couple years. Yeah. He's now just mad. He's been getting hit for like 2 or 3 years. Like I would have
been mad. There was rumors last year that he wanted out. And then they gave him that big contract. I mean, threw that in front of his face, and then he,
and then you trade away his best receiver.
Put the cat in front of
him for crumbs. For crumbs.
That's a smack in the face.
Yeah, you put the cat in front of the donkey.
You don't do that. So that was one thing. Yeah. So he was already he tweeted that he was upset about that. But then this whole situation, he's now like at a 10. So he's pretty much not going to be able to. He's gone.
I think he's out. And if you heard J.J. Watt too, I think he wants out.
Hey, they're all the.
I think all. I mean, it's just not a winning franchise.
Yeah.
It was going in the right direction, and then something just stopped.
Yeah, management just is messing it up. Even Andre Johnson said it. Once they brought in some guy, everything's been downhill. Like the person they brought in to run things. Once they brought him in, everything.
Now the person now I think it's time to bring people in who's played in the NFL for these high positions. Yeah. I don't care what that person's criteria, way he worked and what he did for a profession. You need to get guys that know the game and know the business.
I mean, Louis Riddick, they were talking about he was a high GM, candidate. They was talking about now like his name has died down. He played in the league. He was also in the scouting. He was in the front offices of some teams scouting and all that for I think Washington and Philly. So he knows a lot. He knows a
lot about the game. He's on ESPN every day.
And he knows about the prospects that have entered the draft. So I mean, that's a shame.
And he's honest.
Very. And
you know what I mean?
That's probably why his name kind of faded out. But it goes into a bigger topic is the coaching hire, and some of these guys that they've been hiring. I think they've hired one black head coach. I think. Well, he's not. Well, Robert Salah, the Jets hired him, former 49ers defensive coordinator. But Urban Meyer, he gets hired by the Jaguars.
What's his name?
Campbell, Brandon Staley, like some of these hires is like what? My thing with Urban Meyer, how long before he quits? Or how long before he gives up on him? Because he quit on his players at Florida. Ohio State, he said, you know, all that stuff that happened, and then he goes, okay, I'm gonna step back. I'm a little tired of coaching. I'm just gonna hand the reins. But Urban Meyer, he knows all these guys and could recruiting and all that, but he's not the most decent human being at all. And I don't think he wanted him as a head coach, especially after he had a guy who was beating his wife. He was beaten
on the staff, right?
On staff. It was okay with it and paid him.
And knew about it for years.
Yeah, paid him. So, that's what I mean, and paid him.
Like, isn't character a big thing with hiring coaches? And then, like, these hires and the lack of African American candidates.
And there's so many great candidates out there that are African American that we can list that just still jobless.
They're scared of the takeover because we can relate. You know what I mean? Like
to the players.
Yeah, the white coaches with players, they can relate to a certain extent, but they really can't relate. You know what I mean? So, and it's just
the majority of the league is
like we talked about, like, you know, Brown versus Board education. The next day, I want to say got rid of so many black educators because they want us to influence our own. Yeah. It's the same in other phases in the world and business too.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible this process, and you know, I mean, there's some coaches that do a good job of putting those guys on their staff. I mean, Bruce Arians. I think all his assistant coaches are black. And he's had a trend since like Temple.
And look at that team, right? Yeah. And how many of them went for head coaching jobs?
Right. I think Todd Bowles interviewed for one.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so...
Byron Leftwich? Come on.
I mean, Byron Leftwich... I think the guy that got hired by Atlanta, he's only had like 5 years experience as far as like coordinating and all that. So... I mean,
Byron been a coordinator since he wasn't a quarterback at Marshall, pretty much. Because he came to the league, but he wasn't, you know, injuries. Mm-hmm. But ever since then, he was an offensive coordinator.
And there was another guy. I think his last name is Fisher. His dad is this founder of FedEx, and I think all the jobs he's gotten was because of pretty much because of his dad.
Steve Fisher? You talking about Steve Fisher? He used to coach the Titans?
No.
This is the coordinator?
Yeah, he's young. He's a young one. I forget what job he got, but whatever. But yeah, I was listening to a podcast and it was talking about he was working at Washington at one point. Washington Stadium, football stadium. It's called FedEx Stadium. I think he had a job at a college, and I think one of their buildings was like the FedEx building or something like that. So like a lot of his jobs were like in connection to his dad's
so basically his dad's always looking out.
Right. Like,
pretty much.
Get him in there.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And that's not a bad thing, because I'm sure if we all had kids and we ran...
I'm trying to do that with Maddie.
Right? So,
what you talking about?
But it's like, you know, this guy gets it because of that, and then there's other candidates who probably are more qualified than him, and they can't even get a look, they can't even get an interview. Like, come on, NFL got to do better.
Yeah, they definitely got to do better.
The NFL, definitely. I mean, the NBA is like... If you're qualified, you get a chance.
Definitely. Yep. All right, we're going to go to Craig, and Craig's going to make his picks for...
What's up, Craig?
For the Fantasy No Huddle for the championship week.
That's my guy.
What up, everybody, and welcome to No Huddle here on After the Whistle. It's your boy, Craig, here to give you the latest update on this football playoffs. Penny in the background. As soon as I start talking, she wants to start playing. But let's jump into it. We got Green Bay going up against Tampa. A matchup that we have been waiting to see in a playoff or a Super Bowl position between Brady and Aaron Rodgers, two of the greatest who have ever done it. Both about to match up in the best team that they could have asked for to play up against each other. Aaron Rodgers has been playing inspired MVP football, and Brady has been proving why the Patriots should have never let him go, and why they should have got him weapons. Here's the thing. The comparison for me for Brady and Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers is the better athlete, but Brady has the better mind. And he's been given the full reign of basically calling his plays and coaching the team. Bruce Arians is giving him the realm. And when it comes to winning in the pinnacle moments of football, I'm always gonna go with Brady. And the Bucks have an amazing team and an awesome defense. I think this is gonna come down to who has the ball last, who gets that last drive. And like I said, when the game's on the line, I'm gonna go with Brady all day. Next, you have the Buffalo Bills going up against Patrick Mahomes, and I believe this is the matchup of the greatest of the young quarterbacks. Josh Allen has developed into a phenom with the ball. He's gotten sharper with his passes. He can run with the ball. He's hungry. He's still young and having fun. Patrick Mahomes, looking to be probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, quarterbacks of all time. Definitely going to win multiple rings during his time on the Chiefs. But he's won a Super Bowl, kind of cocky. Josh Allen still hungry. This entire Buffalo team is just foaming at the mouth for a championship. And with that being said, man, I can't go. I'm a Patriots fan, true and true. Boston. I don't like New York teams, but Josh Allen, I'm a fan of this kid, and I can't go against him. I feel like the Bills is gonna pull off the upset to end all upsets. I think they're gonna take it, and I think we're looking at a Tampa Bay Bills Super Bowl. So that's my picks. Big ups to Phillip Rivers, who decided to retire today. Illustrious career. Unfortunately, no championships. But he ends his time, calls it quits. But something we really got to talk about, I kind of touched on it a bit last week. Deshawn Watson wants out. Nobody believes. The word on the streets is that he will not return. He has no interest in playing for the Houston Texans. He has all the control of where he can be traded. He has a no-trade clause in his contract, meaning if they say, hey, we're going to trade you to wherever, he can say, nah, I don't want to go there. So, nah. I feel like the best fit, the two teams, unfortunately in the same division, huge rivalry that makes the most sense is the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. The New York Jets, are they done with Sam Darnold? I don't know that they are. But if they are, an awesome position to go after is Deshaun Watson. The Patriots have been looking for a quarterback of the future, and instead of drafting a quarterback that you don't know is going to do it for you, you go after a guy like Deshaun Watson who's going to guarantee you wins. I think Belichick would love the idea of attaching himself to this guy, and I think this is the quarterback that would have Belichick go after weapons like Allen Robinson, Adam Thielen, Juju Smith, Kenny Golladay, the likes of those guys being available right now, I think would strongly give Bill Belichick the push he needs to go after weapons like that. So where is he going to end up? If he goes to the Jets, lots of picks, lots of salary cap on the Patriots this year. Who knows? But hopefully he comes to the Patriots. So we'll see what happens. But I'm calling it Tampa, Bills, Super Bowl. Back to after the whistle. See you next week.
Thank you, Craig, for that. And then we're going to go to the New England Sports Update with Mia Lynn.
Good afternoon and welcome to this week's segment of New England Sports Scores and Updates. I'm your host, Mia Len, and today I'll be breaking down the latest in the sports world from the last week. To start us off in NCAA men's basketball news, the Northeastern Huskies notched back-to-back victories over the College of Charleston Cougars this past weekend. In the first of the two wins, the Huskies defeated the Cougars 67-62. Playing well for the team was Jason Strong with 13 points and 2 rebounds, Tyson Walker with 20 points, 2 assists, and 5 boards, and Shaquille Walters, who recorded a double-double with 13 points, 3 assists, and 10 rebounds. Chris Doherty also made solid contributions with 8 rebounds and 11 points in 17 minutes. Just one day after, the two teams faced each other again, this time resulting in the Huskies walking away with a 2-point win over the Cougars 68-66. Players who made solid contributions were Jameel Telfort with 16 points and 3 rebounds, Shaquille Walters with 15 points, 2 assists, and 8 rebounds, and Tyson Walker, who notched 10 points, 6 assists, and 3 boards. With these back-to-back wins, the Huskies now sit with a record of 7-5 overall and 6-0 in the conference, which places them at the top of the standings in the CAA. The Huskies are now preparing to take on Drexel in back-to-back games this weekend. Tip-off is at 1 p.m. on both Saturday and Sunday. Next up in Boston College men's basketball news, the Eagles fell to the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame this past weekend in a final score of 70-80. Despite playing in an even second half with Notre Dame, the team wasn't able to make up the 10-point deficit. Some notable performances from the Eagles roster included Stephon Mitchell, who notched an impressive double-double with 16 points and 13 rebounds, CJ Felder, who nearly also had a double-double with 10 points and 9 boards, and Jay Heath and Winston Tabbs, who recorded 14 points apiece. This loss puts the Eagles at second to last place in the ACC with a conference record of 1-6 and an overall record of 3-10. While the team was supposed to face Virginia Tech tonight, that game has been postponed due to a positive COVID test, quarantining, and contact tracing on the BC roster. This game is expected to be played at a later date, which is yet to be announced. Now, the Eagles will plan to take on the Pittsburgh Panthers this Saturday. Tip-off is at 6 p.m. In Celtics news, the team fell to the New York Knicks this past Saturday. The final score was 75-105. The game was Kemba Walker's season debut after being sidelined with an injury up to this point in the season. Despite the loss, some Celtics had notable performances, including Jaylen Brown, who had 25 points, 3 assists, and 6 rebounds, Daniel Tice, who recorded 7 points and 7 rebounds, and Marcus Smart, who notched 10 points, 2 assists, and 2 boards. Make sure to tune in tonight when the team takes on the Philadelphia 76ers at 7 p.m. Lastly, in NHL news, the Bruins will be taking on the Flyers Thursday night in their 4th game of the season. After falling to the Islanders Monday night, the Bruins will look to notch their 2nd win of the season. Make sure to catch them in action tomorrow night at 7 p.m. That's all I have for today. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you next week for another segment of New England Sports Scores and Updates. Now back to After the Whistle.
All right, thank you, Mia, for that. And we are back. Let's get into some NBA. Ooh. Yeah, same reaction. Same
I'm looking like Miss Cleo over here.
James
I'm looking
Harden.
like Miss Cleo.
James Harden.
Oh, you predicted that one?
No, we all knew this was coming, but he forced his way out. And
I'll tell you, I predicted.
And look how he's playing now, because he's all happy.
That's
and
how I
stuff.
predicted.
He's happy again. The problem with James Harden was just the way he went about it. You know,
You gotta respect your team.
Yeah, you can't throw your teammates under the bus like that. Everybody knew you were unhappy, you wanted to leave, but just
Coming
throw
back
them
out of shape and overweight.
I think he was stuffing his. He looks a lot better now, but they look good. Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Well, like I said before, people forget that he was like one of the best point guards in the league when he first got to Houston. And just because they allow you to do whatever you want, who wouldn't do that? If you say dribble the ball as much as you want and shoot whenever you want, I'm gonna do that too. Like it's just, and like now it's like he's under more. I want to say more direction, more control. He doesn't run anything now. It's Steve Nash's team.
Right.
And why wouldn't you want to play for Steve Nash? I listen to Steve Nash.
Not only is it Steve Nash's team, but he also understands that it's Kevin Durant's team.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you see what he did the other day? How he got the ball to KD right away at the end of the game?
Listen, it is a lot easier to assist to Kevin Durant than it is to PJ Tucker and Eric Gordon. No disrespect to them.
One thing I always felt they should have traded Westbrook from OKC because Harden was a better point guard in OKC than Westbrook.
Mm-hmm. Harden's averaging 13 assists right now in 2 games with the Nets.
Yeah.
13 assists.
Yeah.
Listen, these guys, and you look at it, they got one guy that can give you 30 points on just like 12 or 15 shots, and another guy, he can give you 30 and 12 or whatever. So you got 2 guys that give you 30, and then you got another one
who's at home.
Well, he's back.
Well, he's
coming.
But when he's on his A game, he can give you a good 25, 26. So I mean, we seen how LeBron and AD went. It's like, pick your poison. Who you gonna stop? It's just those two. Now you got three. So,
I don't think anybody's gonna stop them. Not even the Lakers.
Only if you
Personally,
only if you got size. I mean, even that. But yeah.
how?
They're just too skilled. Them three guys is just like too skilled.
How?
Yeah. Yeah. Too. Yeah. As he
You
said.
double one, and then what?
Yeah.
They all could do everything.
You see what I'm like? They all could do
everything. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like
Kyrie's. Listen, I met Kyrie in real life. Okay, at a gas station. Believe it or not. Here's the thing about Kyrie that people don't understand. That man's hands. He's only 6'1", 6'2", but his hands are like this, bro.
Yeah.
No, seriously. I shook his hand, and it like his fingers were up here. That's why he does so well in the NBA. His hands, that team is gonna be.
Hey, you know who's the biggest beneficiary of these guys? Joe Harris.
oh yeah.
You know how many open shots this guy's gonna get on the corner
he's
or in the wing?
water.
He's getting like 12, 15 shots, 10 of them open shots just from just standing there for the double team, and he can make them.
You're
He's
right.
water.
As an individual player, he's the biggest beneficiary. But the biggest beneficiary of this trade is the Houston Rockets. And here's what I'm gonna tell you why. The draft picks they got, and they got Victor Oladipo.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not a slouch. He's an all-star.
Yeah, he thought he was saying he should have been number one when he came out.
Oh,
The
listen.
draft.
Yeah.
You watch his pre-draft
Oh
workout?
yeah, he should have. I agree
Dude.
with you, T, on that one. And he's still tough. If he didn't get injured,
Oh yeah,
And this guy too,
be in the MVP
Christian
talk.
Wood, Christian
Christian
Wood,
Wood.
UNLV.
Oh, my goodness.
He's making a name for himself, putting up 30, 15, 20, 20, 10. He's just doing work.
John Wall,
They got
Boogie, they got picks.
Yeah.
So if things don't work out, now they can start shifting things around, sending picks out,
Yeah.
picking
And I
up
think-
guys.
so hopefully they just get the right guys
I
in
think they
there.
got enough time that they could gel
Right.
because the season's still young, so I think they got plenty of time to gel. Like, we're not even 20 games in.
I was gonna say it's not 20 games. They got 71. Yeah, they got time.
Yeah, they got
Be
time
all
to
right.
gel.
But that was a blockbuster move.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the net, yeah, good for the Nets. Good for the Nets. And the East isn't that strong with teams. I mean,
People, man, everybody already got Brooklyn making the finals.
yeah. I mean,
Some have him winning the championship.
It's
I know
just
my
hard.
friend, he went up and put it in the book as soon as he got
Because
traded.
they talked about the Bucks and like Giannis could have 30,
He could, yeah.
Holiday could have 30 something, and they still lose like they did the other night. You know what I mean? So it's like, like what?
Because you need one more, buddy.
Like,
You need one more.
Look. And lastly, this crazy news that happened in Cleveland. Kevin Porter Jr. He had an outburst over there. He's been away with the team, but when he came back, they said they gave his locker to Todd.
I would have been mad too.
And they didn't even let him know. And they told him they're pretty much gonna get rid. They're pretty much.
Here's what they did. Here's what they did. Okay, he's been away from the team for a little
I be
while.
watching him on
Personal
Instagram working
reasons.
out. He's been working
Right?
out though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had his locker. So now they got the trade. They got Tyrique Prince from the Nets. They took Porter's locker, moved it to another area, and then put Prince in that locker.
And as Charles Barkley was saying, why didn't they just put Prince's locker to where they were planning on putting his locker? Why do that? And at least let him know.
Yeah, that's just like when you come into the locker room, you think it's like, I'm gonna chill, and you sit down, it's like, what, huh? It's
like
just
it-
disrespectful.
Cleveland
Man.
has a history of being disrespectful.
Yeah.
Their ownership, their general manager.
That's why-
They have a
See,
history
that's
of
why
that.
that's why they're where they are.
And that's why LeBron left.
Left.
Yeah, like that's why they're always gonna be that.
That's what I'm telling you. So this really doesn't surprise me. What surprised me is that they're trying to blame this kid for having an outburst. Just imagine that. It's like somebody coming into your crib and moving your stuff and not telling you I moved your stuff.
Or just sitting in your seat and be like, that's my seat, but hold up, what?
Right, like
It's
when I
just-
came down here, I asked, "Boo, can I sit here?"
Yeah,
All
like just simple things like that.
courtesy, man.
I feel like since we live in a world where you can communicate with people any way possible, communication is like the last thing people really focus on.
And it's so easy to do.
Yeah,
We
it's
all
so
have
easy.
telephones. We all have phones.
That's an
emails and
easy
stuff,
email or easy
right?
text. Like, listen, we're gonna move your locker over here.
Speaking of that, Kyrie Irving, before we move on, Kyrie Irving, he came back to the team and he explained, like, he's pretty much said he was going through some stuff. He felt like things were getting overwhelming and all that. That's why he's been away from the team. All that's good. I mean, he bought George Floyd's family a house.
Yeah, that
he's
was
been doing a lot of stuff, a lot of humanitarian. Paid college tuition
Yep.
for some kids
Yeah, that's
at
dope.
HBCU. So he's been doing a lot of things. That don't mean we can't criticize him for not letting management know that you're going through some stuff and you need to step back. That's all he needed to do. Just
Right.
let them know you're going through some stuff because what if they can't reach you or get in contact with you, and now they're worried about your safety? Now they're trying to do a wellness cycle. Remember what happened to Vince Young? Remember what happened to Vince Young, but they couldn't get in contact with him, and they were worried?
And if not the management, at least your teammates.
At least somebody.
Because then they could relay the message. You know what I mean? Like, listen, Kyrie told me, like, if we were teammates and you decided you wanted to go somewhere, and you was like, look, Steve, I'm out. I'm gonna head over here. I'm not even. Being your boy and your teammate would be like, listen, he's all right. He went over here. He needed some time off because that's what it seems like he needed. He's saying it was getting overwhelming to him.
But as a man, you are a man. You going through something? Step to people like a man. Express what you're going through.
Divas, man. When you make 50, 60 million.
Yeah, end of the day, like you're hot beat and you got.
You're human.
Yeah.
You gotta just speak up, like communicate.
Just a simple phone call. Let the coach know at least. Just let somebody know, just so they don't have to worry. And then when they're being asked questions about where you are, they're not up there telling like I don't have.
That's crazy. Imagine that for the organization to not know where.
I feel like these people don't they make these moves, but they don't think like, what if somebody else made these moves? How would I feel about it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially him, because he's so quick to criticize his teammates like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
But you gotta come on, man. You gotta
do better, Kyrie.
Just let them know. Just let them know. But he's back. He said he's feeling a lot better. He's in a great space. Like mental health is serious. But you gotta let people know. That's the biggest thing, because you don't want people trying to do wellness checks on you when you're not all right.
I think everybody crazy, man. Just the money. just the money helps a lot. Everybody crazy, bro. The more you get paid, the less crazy you are.
On that note, we got another Athletes Corner. Y'all gonna like this. We got Bolo on.
Bolo!
For real, Bolo?
My guy.
Really? What up, Bolo?
I'll talk about his run, the run he had when he played his years at Tech. Talk about that. So Athletes Corner with Miguel Soto.
Bolo.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Athletes Corner, and today we have another throwback for you all. We have Lynn Tech great 1,000-point club state champion, Mr. Miguel Soto, but everybody calls him Bolo. How are you doing, sir?
How you doing? Glad to be here, my man.
I'm good, man. I see you got your state championship ring. Is that your state championship ring you got on there?
In case you see us swinging across the camera a couple of times, letting them know it's real, you know.
Yeah, man, you guys were, a lot to talk about that run and your time over there at Lynn Tech, but you guys, I think you guys were the cornerstone, or you guys were the foundation to start that run that Tech had of conference championships and state championship appearances. Can you just first talk about, the years for you playing at Tech, just some of your memories there?
Well, our conference runs started actually, I want to say about 2 years prior to me actually playing varsity there. My freshman year, my brother in that class was winning it, which is Antonio Soto, Corey Foster, Joel Aguero, Omar, that class. I was an underclassman to their class my freshman year. And then we won it that year. Then we also won our conference my sophomore year when I started playing varsity full time. My junior year, we also won it. We basically kept the run going for those guys that were leaving their senior year, which we were the underclassmen too.
Yeah.
So our conference, we basically won it for almost like 6 years, basically.
Yeah. Can you just talk about that? From start, from not being on varsity or not being on varsity full time your freshman year to then going to varsity, and then as you got more experience, as you got older, your roles kept increasing each year. Did you feel any pressure at all at first when you first started getting those minutes, or was it just kind of smooth for you because your brother was on varsity and you kind of saw like what he did and what his group did? And was it just easier for you just because you got to see them play and learn from them?
Well, most of my it was very easy for me, to be honest with you, because I never really played basketball with like my class. You know what I mean? I always played with upperclassmen as far as competition. As far as like my friends and all of that, yes, but I always was in the gym with older guys, as far as Anthony Anderson, my brother, obviously. And since I was a young player, I was playing CYO. And I've always played for Coach Avery, Marvin Avery. He's been coaching me since Parks and Recreation. So he's always had an eye on me, and he had his foot in the door at Lynn Tech also, on top of my brother and all the other guys that I always hung around with, going to Lynn Tech already. So when I was at Breed, I was already looking into going to Lynn Tech. I was playing CYO basketball at St. Mary's with a couple of the guys like Rustin Garcia, Limber Thomas. Then when I was in CYO, going into my freshman year, I had an option rather to play varsity for Coach Ridley at the time. It was Coach Ridley coaching, and I believe Coach Avery was his assistant coach. I'm not too sure, but I know Coach Ridley was my brother in that class's coach. And I had the option to play there. But I was also a freshman, and it was my last year at CYO. So I made the decision to play JV basketball and play CYO basketball my final year, which we also won the championship there. I had a great championship run with CYO. I think we won like 2 years straight. So when CYO was over, I was able to already practice with varsity. I was playing the summer leagues with varsity already when my freshman year, going into my sophomore year. Like all that time, I was practicing with varsity already. I was already at their Sunday practices. I was mandatory, had to show up to those practices. Coach Avery, Coach Ridley, if I wanted to play a role with those guys, I had to show up to all their practices. So I was already practicing with them any chance I got. Sometimes I would stay late after our JV practice, which we would practice together, but there were also things that they would do after hours. And I would stay in the gym with them and ride home with my brother, obviously, because, you know, so it was very easy for me to already like learn the system.
Yeah.
I was never like the background player. I was more of a captain. Every team I ever played on, I was always a captain, a leader. So it was already, I already felt a type of way of how I knew I was going to represent myself. Like how I knew soon these guys were going to leave and I was going to have to take that role. So going into my sophomore year, where I was playing certain minutes with the varsity team, I was playing my minutes, but not a lot. You know, I was holding my own. Like I got enough minutes, but I was already mixed in with that class. Yeah. So then Coach Avery ends up getting the head coaching job there. My junior, going into my junior year, like that summer, really was done high school coaching. He went to a principal job, I believe, at Breed, I believe it was. Then Coach Avery, I was already one of the co-captains going into my junior year. I was actually the captain my junior year and my senior year. And we had a great run. Like we really didn't lose many games, honestly. Our style of basketball was one of a kind. Yeah. It wasn't like no hold back. You know, Coach Avery was very tough on us. Till this day, I thank that guy for what he's done and developed me as a player. Yeah. He's always been like a mentor to me since I was a young kid, and always believed in me no matter who I was playing against. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I took on the varsity role already going into my sophomore year. You know what I mean? It was pretty good.
And we are back. Thank you, Miguel, for that. Oh man, yeah, Miguel Soto, Lynn Tech.
Yeah,
1,000 points, Tech, baby. 1,000-point scorer. I mean, they played against them.
Him and Thornton kind of took me under the wing when I was little, just like this man did at Collie Park when I was younger too. So, like it takes a village to raise a child, right? Yeah. And I was fortunate enough to be around a lot.
Plus, every hooper knows each other. So.
Yeah, that too.
Listen, man, I want to say this about hoops since we're on the hoop subject. I've been around the world, and Todd has too, right? There's no place like Lynn when it comes to basketball. I still haven't seen a place. And I've been all around the country. So let's keep that up. Let's keep that tradition going. All the kids that are watching this, all the coaches, all the people out here.
Yes, sir.
Let's keep that up. That's what we're known for out there.
Yeah.
And we might all be competing in rivals against each other, but it's all about the better.
It's all
It's
love.
all about helping each kid become better people and better than us.
Definitely. All right, let's go to around the world of sports real quick. All right. Phillip Rivers announced his retirement today after 17 years in the NFL. He's retiring. He had a good season, but it's just time. It's time. Plus, you got 10 kids. You got to take
Yeah, you gotta start helping out. Around the house.
Take the trash out.
For real.
You done got all that NFL money to take care of the kids. That's the reason you got 10 kids. You got all that NFL money.
For real.
So, kudos to
Kids,
them.
Life must be.
Hey, in the Bible it says, "Be fruitful and multiply," and he lived by that.
Yeah,
Meant
he
to his
did.
wife. I tell you that much.
Drew Brees played. Drew Brees.
That's a lot of babies.
Drew Brees, he's planning on retiring. I mean, shoot. I think the game retired him on Sunday. Like, you don't need to make that announcement.
I sent you that text after that
Listen,
that third
was-
intro, that tip. I said, yo, he gotta retire, bro. It's time.
No, but everything he did, you could tell that was his
Yeah,
last
it
game.
was just-
Even when he ran off the field, he did put his helmet on, did this little thing,
Oh, yeah.
and then he turned back and looked at the field. I said, "Oh yeah, he's done. That was his
Yeah, he
last."
probably turned back and threw another interception.
Yeah, money on that.
All right, WNBA news. The Atlanta Dreams, they're close to being sold. So, the owner, Kelly Loeffler, she's been objecting to the league's embracement of Black Lives Matter. This is why she lost the election, because all the players pretty much started endorsing her opponent. And that pretty much propelled him to win, because before they started endorsing him, he was at 9%.
Oh.
And then after that, it skyrocketed. Pretty much the whole WNBA endorsed him.
So was she like a racist or something?
Yeah.
I haven't really heard much about her.
She campaigned with a Klansman.
Well, I'm glad the blanket is being pulled over and everything, you know what I mean?
It's that time, though. It's that time. It's that time. A lot of things are gonna start being revealed and exposed, guys.
Oh, I know.
You can't own. I mean, we saw it happen to Donald Sterling. You just can't be owning it.
That's crazy though.
That's
Like,
wild. McGregor's back. He's fighting this weekend against Dustin Poirier. This is their second fight. It's probably a warm-up fight to something else that they probably got set up down the line.
I mean, from what I was reading, I read about the UFC. I'm into boxing and fighting a lot.
Yeah.
So here's what I got out of it. They're trying to stage a Megan. What's the guy's name?
Khabib? My guy.
Khabib and McGregor rematch.
You want to get your behind with the gun?
Man, Khabib grew up fighting bears.
I know.
He's the bear boy.
McGregor, he keeps tugging on his tail though. He's you retiring, this and that. He's gonna come back and wrap him up.
Or actually, Khabib got his mother's blessing to
to
return.
come
I
back?
think to return. I was watching something that said that.
Yeah,
So
because he
like,
didn't want to fight again because his dad's not there.
Right.
and then his mother, he promised his mother he wouldn't fight because she didn't want him to fight anymore. And then she gave him his blessing to go back.
Yeah, go whoop Connor up.
I mean,
He talked too much.
Man.
He do talk
I told
too
you,
much.
man.
But Connor gotta get past this guy Poirier. Poirier ain't no
Man,
joke.
I already told you, don't be messing with them Russians. They different.
And
They killed Denzel Washington.
I like Khabib how like he beat dude and was like, all right, you can have your stuff back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So,
Yeah.
oh, you talk about shout him up.
Yeah, them
Go to LAX.
Them Russians shot up Denzel. That's when I was like, I ain't messing with Russians. See, Vladimir Putin stole Bob the Crash ring.
You ever seen that Soprano episode? When it took them guys like the whole episode to kill that Russian? They shot him, stabbed him. He was still kicking.
Russians are different, man.
They different.
All right, college football. Justin Fields, he's entering the NFL draft to no surprise. All-American or all-conference receiver Chris Olsen.
No, I know who he is. I was thinking you guys think he's gonna be a first round.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna be a first-round pick. The Patriots got the 15th pick, and they
15,
say
I
he
know.
might fall.
I heard
there.
that.
We'll see.
But we'll see.
Bill Belichick, you need to go call Houston. Since the guy that works at Houston used to be a former Patriot.
Right, all Patriot guys over there.
Yeah, I'll take Watson over a draft pick.
Me
He's
too.
all day. He's ready. He's ready.
That's what I mean. I'll
Like, we
take
got
it.
draft picks for you. We got draft picks.
Yeah,
Take these draft picks. Give us Watson.
We need receivers.
All right,
though.
two more Ohio State players declared for the draft: Tommy Tagati and Tyrique Smith, the offensive and defensive lineman.
What about their running back?
Hasn't? I mean, one of them, he's been in college for like 6 years.
Right, that's what I mean. He didn't get cleared for the league.
I mean,
Where's he going?
he used to.
One more year.
Who knows? Unless he's redshirting or something. I don't know. He's trying to come back.
Also, NBA news: Washington and Charlotte is got postponed, so we'll see when they reschedule that game. Also, college basketball: 7 games have been postponed. Boston College, Virginia Tech, UMass and St. Louis, Texas, Iowa State, NC State and Virginia, Texas Tech and TCU, Xavier and UConn, Minnesota, and Nebraska. 7 games been postponed.
So I know they're trying to make it so like life is kind of normal, but you need to just bring the bubble back until everything is situated.
Listen, I agree, man.
Like,
because this is crazy.
Madness.
Just bring the bubble back, and they got to deal with.
NBA gave everybody the blueprint.
Yeah, I don't think people want to do that.
They gave everybody the blueprint. You put them in a bubble. You don't let nobody come in. They got a quarantine. No. Did anybody catch it?
No.
Not
But
one
you
person.
want to know the problem with the world? Most people have an issue with staying in the house. Some people just can't stay in the house. Like they could tell you, if you go outside, the sun gonna burn your whole face off. You're gonna see a bunch of faceless people on the ground outside. Cause they just can't stay in the house.
Alright.
I don't.
Stay in the house.
I don't get it, but
Stay in the house.
Wear your masks too.
call them specials.
Alright, let's go. Top 10 plays from the divisional round. We're gonna come back and wrap this thing up, man. It's the years. Yeah, we are.
I'm telling you. Just like that.
All right, man. St. Mary's, they're playing Bridgewater Raynham today. They're looking to bounce back. They lost to Archbishop Williams the other day, 61-70. It was a kid from Archbishop.
They lost?
Yeah, this kid from Archbishop Williams. His name was Andre Mills. He's a lefty. He was. Ooh. But hopefully they bounce back. Yeah, that's all I got for that.
St. Mary's, good luck this season. I just want to say that.
Only thing I'm gonna say, St. Mary, stop starting new trends. Certain schools we didn't lose to ever, and Archbishop Williams is one of them. Never lost to them.
Shout out to Coach Brown, my guy.
All right. Go to After the Whistle Instagram page. We got highlights over there. We got college basketball highlights. We got high school basketball highlights. I got a bunch of highlights from St. Mary's from Sunday and Monday. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff on there. Go to Lynn Community Television Facebook page and lyntv.org. If you missed the Martin Luther King breakfast virtual ceremony, it's up on there, so make sure you check that out. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel, Lynn Community Television. Mr. Burton 23, make sure you follow him. Stevie Patrick, plug in Instagram, social media, all that if you got it.
Well, you could just. I'm not really onto the social media like that. I ain't into that right now. But
right now,
I'm on Facebook. Stevie Patrick's my name. If you want to come to my page, private. You probably ain't gonna get in.
Oh, well,
Check on you first.
too bad. Well, if anything, catch him on the sidelines when the season gets back. We
Definitely.
gonna do that.
Lynn Tech basketball,
All
for
right.
sure.
And on that note, we are out of here. Probably after we finish this show, there's going to be a breaking news that happens, just like last week, because that always happens. But make sure you check us out.
Thank you guys for having me,
I
Todd.
appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah.
I love these guys, man. Me and Todd go way back.
Way back.
We'll go back too, but not as far as the team. All right, and I've been dying to get on this show. These guys let me on.
Yeah,
I think we did a good job today.
Great guest, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Super Bowl week, we're going to have Craig back here, and we're going to try our hardest not to get canceled, because, Craig. Every time Craig and Todd get together, there's some
That's what happens when you grow up with that guy.
Come on, man.
There's some stuff that happens, but we'll have our usual. Craig
Mr.
always
Campbell.
makes 2 appearances a year.
Yep.
And Super Bowl week is one of those weeks, so we'll catch you guys with that. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Also, so shout out to the ladies of the WNBA.
Yeah, for sure.
The Lady
They
Bulldogs.
pretty much changed the election. So have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch you guys next week.